knowledge enthusiasts, and welcome to another episode of In Conversation With. We are celebrating children in the month of November, and my guest for this episode here today is the youngest paleontologist. I know all of you are curious, so let me quickly introduce her to you. Her name is Ashwatha. Ashwatha, thank you so much for joining us here today.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Lovely to have you with us. So you're just in class 8 and you have been given the title of youngest paleontologist. Now that is not something people achieve at such a young age. I mean, that's naturally why you have been given the prefix youngest. So tell us, how did this begin? How did the interest in paleontology even start? What kindled that curiosity? What happened?
So when I was at the age 5, my father bought me an encyclopedia. During that time, I was unable to read. Rather, I used to see pictures. It seemed like that one day when I was seeing the picture, I stopped at one page where there was a big fossilized ammonite. During that age, I did not know that it was a fossil. Rather, I knew that it was a shell and it was an organism that lives in the ocean. Because since age 2, I used to collect shells and I had a huge collection of shells. Due to the patterns that was recognized, I recognized each and every pattern and I related it to the marine organism. I went and asked my mother if I could collect the specimen, and my mother said, "You can't collect the specimen, but if you would like to see the specimen, you could go to Egmore Government Museum." Because this particular specimen comes under government property, therefore you could not collect it. As said, she took me to Egmore Government Museum, where in the geology department, at the entrance, we have a big ammonite fossil. I was amazed at the beginning to see it. Slowly, I went in and I started touching, and I felt the true stonish structure in it. Because a normal shell is light in weight, and this was really heavy. Although during that time I did not understand it was a fossil, and I did not know that there was a separate field like biology, botany, zoology for this particular organism, and it was called paleontology. But still, I followed my curiosity, and at the age 11, I finally stopped and I came to know what was a fossil, how do they get preserved, and what was the field that deals about the fossils. When I came to know about that, I also knew that the field paleontology was completely endangered in our India. As a result, I started creating an awareness regarding the endangered field paleontology to students of our India. As a result, I've educated nearly 6,000 students and others in our India.
Lovely. I mean, I think the title youngest paleontologist is the right title that has come to you. Very, very apt.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, and also, I mean, at age 5, you got into this, and by age 11, you had already discovered your passion. Many of us, it takes us a long time to understand what our passion is, what our passion areas are, but you did that at a very young age. That's really commendable, Ashwatha. I think that's really nice. So tell me, Ashwatha, what do you do when you say that you spread awareness about the field? What is it that you do?
By creating awareness in the sense, I used to give presentation and display all my fossil collections and conduct few quiz and games. Presentation in the sense, when I newly started creating awareness, I taught people and students about what is a fossil, how do a fossil get preserved, what is the field paleontology, and why should we conserve the field paleontology. Later on, I started giving presentation on evolution of Earth, evolution of organisms, and the major key resources fossils, how are they supposed to be preserved, and me as a paleontologist, how I developed my interest, and in the present career, how could we all get into that and learn more about paleontology and pursue it in the future. After completing my presentation, I used to conduct a quiz in which there'll be approximately 10 questions related to the same presentation. Games in the sense matchup, mostly matchup. In that, different topics will be given. One is, for example, recently I conducted a seminar at Satanu region of Arielu region. Their matchup was regarding evolution of animals, of prehistoric animals to the modern creatures. Like that, we used to conduct games. This is what I meant by conducting seminars and creating an awareness.
Well, Ashwat, I can tell you one thing. Conducting quizzes, hosting quizzes is something I do for a living as well. So, sometime in the future, if I'm hosting a paleontology quiz, I will definitely come to you to check with you if all my questions are okay or not, or if you can probably give us some questions on this.
Sure,
Okay?
ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
All right. So, what else do you do, Ashwata, other than paleontology? Any other hobbies?
So, hobbies in the sense, except paleontology, I love reading books. That is the key resource that led me to the field paleontology, introduced especially.
Okay.
So, during my free hours, other than paleontology, hobbies I have are I love reading books, as I said, not normal story books. I used to read stories related to true incidents and few scientific stories, few fiction books, and some and to have some amount of joy, I used to read fantasy. This is what mostly I do during my free hours at home. When I'm out of my home, I love collecting shells, visiting new sites, especially for paleontology is completely different. I used to visit archaeological monuments where I used to describe about that site, and I love reading. New curiosity arises every moment. So according to that, at that particular moment, what is my curiosity? I apply that and do stuffs regarding that as my hobby. But
So,
paleontology is my passion completely.
absolutely. So anything that ignites your curiosity, you go ahead, you search a little more, and you learn more about it. That's what you do.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Lovely. That is amazing. So tell me, Ashwata, how good are you in your academics? If 10 being the highest, between 1 to 10, how much would you rate yourself?
So commonly, I've reached up to first rank. Uh, I used to always maintain first rank only. I'm good at my academics.
So you're sort of a topper in the class, that means.
Yes, ma'am.
So how is that you manage being a topper of the class and your paleontology and your books, all of it together? How are you able to manage it?
Actually, the common schedule and routine each and every child has. Apart from that, my routine is usually different. We don't have television in our home. We can save a lot of time from that. That time is implied to paleontology. During holidays, I completely spend it through paleontology because we need a lot of time that should be implied for field work. That time could be only implied during the holidays. For reading and other curriculum, when it comes to school, it is very less. We usually have, rarely we have homeworks, could manage that easily. And for paleontology, rest of the house mostly deals upon paleontology. And during this lockdown, no need to say, online classes, we have short breaks. I use that breaks to read few research articles. I'm utilizing this time to read a lot of research articles that is presently needed because new discoveries should be done for many a sector for paleontology. So I'm trying to do that.
All right, lovely. Now, you said you rarely have homework, right? I hope your teachers at your school are not watching this video or this interview, because if they listen to you, they might just increase the amount of homework that you have. I, I, I guess that might just happen. But okay, so tell me something, Ashwata. Now you have told me all about your hobbies, your passion, and how you manage your time. I'm pretty sure your ambition is to become a paleontologist, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what kind of path have you charted out for yourself? Meaning, how in India we know we don't have too many opportunities when it comes to paleontology, right? So
Yes,
what are
ma'am.
your plans for yourself?
A paleontology course is not there in India. That is, it's not well established. Rarely one or two are here. My future plan is to become a renowned paleontologist of India. Since we feel paleontology is not in our course is not there in India, alternatively we could take either geology or earth science. Through that mode, as an allied course, we have paleontology. I'm trying to pass through that and get into the field paleontology and become a renowned paleontologist.
Okay, all right. Tell me, Ashwatha, I'm sure you have some mentors who guide you
Yes,
throughout this journey of yours. So,
yes.
what kind of, how do you interact with them? What kind of conversations do you have with them? What do you do?
I have a lot of mentors. They educate me by one side. Usually, for not for all things. They say they refer each articles and research papers, and they say me to read it and collect the information. If I could not understand the information, they will help me out. This is the common mode of asking a doubt or any other thing. If it comes to specimens, once I collect some specimens, I work till the core. I work till the core and identify the name of the organism, the age, and I classify it separately and mark the specimen. But when at the moment when I'm unable to identify the particular specimen's name, I would ask my mentor if they could help me regarding specimen identification. This is the way we interact. This is the way I interact with my mentors. It is every time they just refer me books. They do not refer me any videos. All they refer is learn a lot. Until and unless you learn stuff, you cannot get into such a dry subject, especially paleontologists. So I developed a lot of reading, and that is because that particular thing is that is the particular thing that led me to such a big stage right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, to be in a field like this, you require really good mentors to be there for you all the time. And I
Yes,
think with
ma'am.
the way you have explained to me, sounds like your mentors have always been there for you and always helped you, no matter how difficult a question or a problem you throw at them. I'm pretty sure of that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ashwatha, finally, one last question for you. What message do you have for all the kids out there?
This message would be my foremost request because paleontology field is a field in which their resources are high in number, but they are getting limited due to a particular term called hobby. Rather than choosing the field paleontology as a hobby, we students or the young researchers who would like to get into and pursue the field paleontology should take the course through their own passion and lay down all the interest they have towards the field paleontology itself. If that is so, the resources that are getting limited could be preserved and conserved for the future generations too, if they would like to get into the field. So, as a major message, I would like to give them let you all take the field paleontology as a passion rather than a hobby. Choose it from your own heart with all the interest you have.
All right, that was a passionate paleontologist for you in Ashwatha, and you heard her choose paleontology as a passion. Well, she is definitely all for passion. She started at age 5. We heard her story, so we know what paleontology means to her. Thank you so much, Ashwatha, for being with us.
Thank you, ma'am.
Lovely having you on this In Conversation with episode. All
Thank you,
right,
ma'am.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this episode of In Conversation with, and be back soon because I have many more interesting stories for you. You take care.